Dan McCann was totally amazing.
He always talked about bringing football back to Duquesne.
He was a very kind person, but a very strong person.
The program really wouldn't be here without him. He got things done.
We probably had 50 people apply for the head coaching job, many of whom were college coaches. But Dan stood out far and above. He was a winner. His last coaching position was North Catholic's freshman, where he was 9-0 3 years in a row, undefeated 3 years in a row.
I didn't realize till later on in life what a great football coach he really was. He laid a stable foundation for the program at Duquesne University.
He had a strong personality, a bit of a character.
He was just a larger-than-life character, you know. Big, tall guy.
And everybody knew him. They knew him as the big guy, because that's what he called everybody. Hey, big guy, hey, big guy. The players he called by their numbers or their position. Hey, 22, over here, 22. That's why fancy lady or big guy.
One of his phrases was, great day to be alive. You know, how you doing today? It's a great day to be alive.
Yeah, how are you? He goes way back. Yeah, 71.
You know, really the phrase that I most associate with my dad, because he lived his life as if it were great to be alive. He did things 100%.
He was, you know, Mr. Optimistic and Positive before it became popular. You know, and I think that came from, it's a great day to be alive. That'll stay with me forever.
He'd leave a mark with you because he was a very positive guy, would actually make you feel important yourself, no matter who he talked to.
He bled red and blue. I mean, he had a vision that he wanted to see football come back to Duquesne like it was in the old days.
I call him the founding father of the return of Duquesne football and Duquesne football tradition. He's George Washington, he's Thomas Jefferson, he's the founding father.
But he was never involved in promoting himself. He was always promoting the #1, Duquesne, football, and the players.
He was something to work with. You know, he was right in the middle of the field. One day he's sitting behind the linebackers with his little pad and his Jones. And he goes, I want you to do this and do that. And all of a sudden the quarterback throws the ball, hits him right here. Breaks his glasses in half. They fell. He picks them up. He's trying to hold them on his face while he's still staying back here, you know, and coaching. He wouldn't move. He wouldn't get out of the way. I mean, that's what he was. That's, you know, all in.
Dan had a motor. Boundless energy, boundless.
There will never be anyone like him again.
Vividly remember equipment handouts was out of the back of his Cadillac. So he would bring our equipment down and he would open up the back of his Cadillac and the big gal would hand us like our helmets and our mouthpieces and our equipment basically.
I used to sell the programs at the beginning of the game, and then I used to run to the concession stand and help in the concession stand. In addition to being the coach, my dad was also the promoter of Duquesne football, and he was responsible for raising, you know, the funds that were needed that were not, you know, not everything was provided at that time before they were a varsity sport. You know, they only had the club sport budget.
His hallmark, I think, as a coach, is preparation.
There's 3 phases in football: offense, defense, and special team. Dan was meticulous about all 3 phases. But on offense, he passed. Back then, people were running football teams. They ran the ball, ran the ball, ran the ball, ran the ball. Dan's philosophy was the quickest way to get to the end zone was throw the ball over everybody's heads, catch it, and score a touchdown. He believed it. He believed in his whole heart. And back then, people didn't pass the ball as much as he did.
In his first year, we were playing Fordham. It was undefeated. They were ranked either 1 or 2. And we were playing them at South Stadium, not the beautiful places that, you know, we play now. And South Stadium in those days was mud, but it had rained earlier in the week, and all the city teams play there, the high school teams, and it had dried, and it was like tufts of mud sticking up. Fordham came down, they had an All-American running back, they had a good team, and their coach was furious when he saw the film. Said, I'm not playing. I'm not putting my team out here. And Dan brings me over and said, did you give him the check? And I said, yeah, we gave him the check. He said, either you play today or it's a forfeit. I'll take the win. But that was Dan. You don't like the field? Too bad. This is where we play. It's Pittsburgh.
He knew recruiting was the key. He always said, great players make great coaches.
Yeah, he brought the culture along. The kids that played for him were warriors. He brought kids, convinced kids to come play here. And we had DUVA back at Duquesne University Veterans Association. All the kids that went to Vietnam, they were living on a GI Bill, so they were going free. He got them to play. They were 27, 28 years old.
Dan had a small problem. When Dan came to Duquesne, they didn't offer athletic scholarships in football. So Dan had to use other methods. Parents didn't know what to do. They were scared about sending kids, especially with the price tag of schools. And Dan would always use this analogy. If you were buying a $20,000 car, in 4 years, 5 years, the car would lose all its value. But if you take out a loan for education, that goes with you for your whole life. And you wouldn't believe how many people he helped over life, getting them into Duquesne and proving that they could afford to go to Duquesne University.
You can't say he's like any other person. He's unique.
He started in 70 and in 73 won the national championship. I mean, I don't know, what else can you say?
He took care of you. He took care. If you needed something, he knew everybody. He knew Tom Forster, Allegheny County Commissioner. He grew up with the Rooneys. I mean, he had so many different people from different areas, but he built a culture.
But when I look back at Dan at the time, he had a full-time job. He was a salesman for the Iron City and Pittsburgh Brewing Company. And I don't know how he found time, but he was there every day.
It wasn't even just in football. He would help us off the football field a lot.
A lot of people got jobs at the brewery, and guess what? Stayed with the brewery their whole life.
Had the commitment there. He had your back. He would always try to do what he could to help you out.
He got me and my brother and a couple of my friends jobs running forklifts, like on the night shift. And that was one of the best jobs I ever had in my life to this day.
It just opened the doors to people, and Dan was really, really good at that.
And every person that played for him, he impacted their lives in some way, shape, or form.
It's a family. It's a family. He made it a family. He was a tough father. He was a tough dad in that family. So he did a great job, and he, to the last day he was living, he just was all Duquesne.
In football and in sports, I think loyalty means a lot. And Dan was the personification of loyalty.
One thing I would say is how much we miss him and his involvement in the football program, which even long after he quit coaching was steady. He was always here at practice.
I just say thank you for your vision, your persistence. You were the big man. You're the ultimate big man.
Just thanks for everything. What you did for Duquesne, what you did for Duquesne football, for me personally, for the academy schools. I certainly said it to him before. Would still be thanks.
When I was a freshman at Duquesne, my father passed away. And he was the best father anybody could ever have. And Dan filled that void in my life. Dan and I became best of friends. He treated me like a son that he never had. I will ever be thankful to you, Dan. Love you, big guy. And may you rest in peace, and say hi to Rosie for me up there. See you, big guy.
I thoroughly enjoyed the memories now, going back and looking at everything he did to make it fun, because he made it fun. But thank you for everything you've done to get this program to this point of playing Florida State in Florida. I'd like to say something here, looking Don and saying, big guy, thank you. You know, I mean, that's how he'd respond. Appreciate it.